Every year, almost every single NFL fan asks themselves, will my team win their division? Will my team make it to a Super Bowl? And every team's fan base always feels like every single year is their year. Well, today we'll be asking and answering the question, is it the Giants' turn? What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back in to another video. And before we start this video, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button for me and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel to see content just like this. We got some great content coming your way in the next coming weeks, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys don't miss it. Make sure you guys hit that bell as well, because apparently there are a lot of, the YouTube algorithm and the YouTube subscription feeds aren't working right. They never have been, really. So sometimes when I drop a video, you're not getting it in your news feed. A lot of people I'm subscribed to myself, I'm not getting anything in my subscription feed or anything in my recommended pertaining to their videos, even though I'm subscribed to them. So make sure you guys hit that bell. It's gonna help the chances of you seeing my video a lot quicker, faster, and help the accuracy of that. So that being said, let's start off with why I think, pretty much the basis of this video. Do I think the New York Giants are going to win the NFC East? We don't have to stretch it all the way to the Super Bowl, because that's not something I'm going to go ahead and pull out of my butt all of a sudden. So, listen, do I think the New York Giants are going to win the NFC East in 2021? Absolutely. Listen, I'm going to go through all my reasoning for this, but of course this is all speculation. Every single year, we always feel like our respective teams are going to win their respective divisions. But this year, I just have such a different feeling about it. If you go back all the way, even prior to 2016, I always feel like the Giants have a shot at it. I just don't feel like we're really there yet, and it's really my blue lens and my bias really kind of projecting a better record for this team. Like last year, I predicted 7-9, and last year I even said that's a generous 7-9. We can easily go 6-10, 5-11, and we went 6-10. So listen, and everybody pretty much had that feeling as well with the New York Giants, and we predicted pretty much the exact record, not exactly game for game, but pretty much the exact record. This year, a lot of people have different opinions on it. I don't think there's anybody that has the expectation of us doing any worse than we did this year, if not as bad as we were last year. And we weren't even that bad. It's just from a win record sort of standpoint, we were bad. If you look at the New York Giants this year, there is no expectations shorter than at least 9 wins for this New York Giants team. You can look around the NFL media, whether that be all the mainstream brands that forget about New York Giants media, just like Good Morning Football, First Take, or whatever the case may be. They have high expectations for the Giants. I don't really know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, because I am a huge fan of underdogs. The Giants have always been underdogs, even though we're such a big, sports media market. Obviously, the Giants in 2007, you guys can watch that video. It's just an infamous video of somebody compiling all the predictions from 2007 in the playoffs for the Giants when they made it as a wild card, and all the pre-game, like right before the game predictions by those Fox and CBS sports media were always rooting for the other team, and it was always unanimous. And obviously, you guys know the story. The Giants remained victorious throughout the playoffs and eventually beat the 18-0 New England Patriots. So we've always been an underdog, and we've never really had this spotlight before where, we're being highlighted for the job our coach is doing, and for the progression of this team, the job our GM is doing. Like, Dave Gettleman has been disrespected time and time again ever since he got hired as GM over Louis Riddick. A lot of people already felt that was enough to just hate Dave Gettleman, is because we hired him over Louis Riddick. But we all know Louis Riddick would have wanted Dwayne Haskins over Daniel Jones. We all know Louis Riddick is still very salty to this day about not being awarded GM. Still has some outlandish takes towards the Giants, but Dave Gettleman has proved time and time again he belongs in New York, and he's doing a fantastic job. Even Dave Gettleman haters can't even deny the job that he's been doing so far, and at least these past 2 years. Like, I know we kind of want to forget about 2018. That happened. That came and went already. We all acknowledge that was a really bad year as far as from a rebuilding standpoint, or a progression of a team standpoint, or just franchise managing in general. but we all could agree the past 2 years for the Giants have been absolutely amazing, and it's no coincidence that obviously Joe Judge was a huge part of that. I'm not going to just deny that and say it's all Dave Gettleman. I think it was a really a joint effort there. I think they can take a lot of credit, each one of them, for the progression of this football team. So now that we get into all the little bit of details into this, let's get to my actual reasonings. Let me get to my actual reasons of why I think the New York Giants are going to win the NFC East in 2021. First off, if you just crunch it down to the 4 teams in the NFC East, I really think the New York Giants are the most balanced team in the NFC East and the most improved team in the NFC East, and maybe even the NFL. My boy Kush from the Hub made a great video on that. I'll put the card up above just to give a little shameless plug to him. You guys go and check that out and subscribe to him as well. But he made a video about the Giants being the most improved team in the NFL. You guys can check that out above. But I honestly think the Giants have been the most improved team in the NFC East, at least. Of course, I haven't done too much research on as a whole in the NFL, but they are definitely up there as one of the top, at least top 4. I can't even say top 5. I really think they're in like that top 3 range of the most improved teams in the NFL as far as from being a balanced team. Like, we have a huge potential in the offense, with guys coming back from injury like Saquon Barkley and Kenny Golladay pretty much coming back from injury, right, and being signed as a free agent. We have Kyle Rudolph being brought in here. Guys like, small, even though they used to be big names, but they're kind of smaller names now. John Ross, and we have Dante Pettis in here coming back as well. And then we drafted Kadarius Toney. We got Kyle Rudolph. I mean, the offense is really beginning to progress. We're loading up in that running back room just in case Saquon were to go back down. We're taking the right preventative measures with getting depth on this team from the offensive side of the football and the defensive side of the football. You look at our secondary alone, it's probably one of the most stacked secondaries you see in the widespread of the NFL. If you take a look at our cornerback and safety rooms, you just find talent from top to bottom. It's like there's no front heavy or back heavy type of talent. They're all really, really good. So not only are we the most improved team in the NFC East, we probably have the most depth, and we are the most balanced in the NFC East. We have very good special teams on top of that. So all 3 phases of the football, offense, defense, and special teams, we are great in all those categories, all those phases. The only thing that we need to see is how well these new offensive pieces blend with Jason Garrett and the pieces that are already there, like Jason Garrett, like him, Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, guys like that. How do guys like Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Rudolph, Devontae Booker, how do they all mesh together in that system? The offense is the biggest question mark, but the defense got better than last year. We added more pieces than last year. We lost Dalvin Tomlinson, and that was it. We added guys like Adoree Jackson. We added guys like Aaron Robinson and Rodorius Williams in the draft. We got Ifedi Odenigbo. We got Danny Shelton, former first-round pick from the Browns. I mean, we loaded up. Reggie Ragland is joining this linebacker room. Like, we've got tons and tons of talent. Azeez Ojulari, names are just keep popping up over and over again. It feels like we were supposed to load up on offense, which is exactly what we did, and we still loaded up on defense, even though we have a top 5 defense, or top 10 defense rather. I mean, this defense and this team is getting so much better, and they got so much better in this offseason, and it's just a matter of putting it all together and showing it on the field. But on paper, I mean, this team is already at a huge advantage to all the rest in the NFC East. Next, we look at the schedule and strength of schedule. Now, I'm not too big of a guy on strength of schedule. Like, some teams make it to the playoffs and have, what looked to be a hard schedule wind up being an easy schedule just because of other teams. It really relies on other teams on how well they flip their, previous record. If they were a 4-12 team and they wound up being 12-5, like the, new 17 game schedule, but they were 4-12, wound up being 12-5, or a maybe 10-6 team wound up being a 2-15 team. You know what I'm saying? So that all really relies on the records of the teams in their previous years. Philadelphia has the easiest schedule coming up with a win ratio of 0.43, and then Dallas Cowboys right there with them at 0.43, .452. As far they are 31st ranked, and then the 15th ranked, which has the hardest in the NFC East, is Washington football team, because they obviously won a division. They have the first place schedule with a .504. So and the New York Giants are right there as with a .474. So that's where we rank there. Well, we have the second the second hardest schedule, but it's still a pretty easy schedule as far as, we are definitely below average as far as strength of schedule right now. So it's a favorable schedule. I'm not saying we had the easiest schedule, but it is a favorable schedule. If you compare it to the schedule last season, it was one of the hardest schedules in the NFL last season. We had plenty of playoff teams to play, and the Giants still wound up being scrappy in every single game. We were scrappy with pretty much every single team. The only team we really got smoked by was early on in the season. I can't even remember. I think San Francisco smoked us. That was probably the biggest whooping we got all season, and that was at the beginning of the year. We progressively got better every single week. So with an easier schedule, I don't even care about the rest of the NFC East. As far as the Giants go, the fact that they have an easier schedule this year, I don't care about the strength of schedule for Philly and Dallas. The fact that the Giants have an easier schedule than last year, and we still, were able to go 6-10 and still remain scrappy, and probably should have won. We left more W's on the field than we did L's. So I'm already confident in the Giants when it comes to the strength of schedule. So let's look at the momentum for every single team going into 2021 in the NFC East. Let's start off with the Washington football team, right? Since they won the division last year. Okay, so you have the Washington football team who won the division last year, and they, got kicked out in the wild card. If you just look at the NFC East, and every single time Washington has won the NFC East, the rest of the NFC East teams were never good. I mean, the last time Washington won the East was back in, I believe, 2015, when they went 9-7 and got smoked by Green Bay with Kirk Cousins. They made it to the playoffs with Kirk Cousins in 2015. They had a 9-7 record. That was because Dallas went 4-12 because Tony Romo went down, and the Giants were not really that good that year. That was Odell's second year, I believe, and Philly wasn't good either. And Washington always takes advantage when the rest of the NFC East isn't good, but when the rest of the NFC East has some competition, Washington just never sticks in the fight. They always wind up being, third or fourth in the placement. So although I like Washington, I think they're our biggest threat. They're the second most balanced team in the NFC East. I don't think they're going to compete if the rest of the NFC East is going to be competing like the Giants and like the Cowboys. So, and then let's move on to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be bringing back Dak Prescott. He's going to be coming back from injury, and also had a huge payday as well. So he's going to be coming back in full form with that, top one offense. They were the best ranked offense in the NFL before he got hurt. Exactly what I predicted. But their defense is still a question mark, although they had pretty much a defensive draft in this previous draft. There's still a lot of question marks, a lot of guys that they drafted that how are they going to see the field, like the two inside linebackers they drafted, even though they have already 2-star inside linebackers. How are these guys going to see the field, and how are they going to have a bigger impact than just keeping Leighton Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith? I mean, is that going to be a bigger impact? And then they got guys like Nahshon Wright, who was drafted in the third round, that a lot of people had going undrafted. So, there's big question marks with their draft as far as a defensive point of view. Is it going to be the same thing as last year, where they're, having to score 45 points a game and still freaking wind up 1-4 to start the season? Is that how it's going to be? If so, the Giants will win this single-handedly. They're going to win that. Now we look at the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're just a train wreck, right? They panicked and found themselves just a random head coach and Nick Sirianni. They got rid of Carson Wentz, and they, now it's hurt season apparently. I don't know. Even though they brought in Joe Flacco, who I think is going to be a week 1 starter, and their defense is still a wreck. They found no weapons for the defense at all when it comes to the cornerback room. It's something they desperately needed. They wanted Aaron Robinson in the draft. We took that from them. Somehow Eagles fans think that Devontae Smith fixes all their problems, and we all know that is not the case whatsoever. So with that being said, I mean, does Philly have a chance in the NFC East? In my honest opinion, to keep it short and sweet, absolutely not. Philly is not going to be in the running for the NFC East. They're not going to even sniff 8 wins this year, and you can mark that. You can mark my words. Any Eagles fan, any Eagles video maker watching this, mark my words. You guys aren't sniffing eight wins this season. So that being said, now it's all up to the Giants. And in my opinion, when it comes to momentum, you look at the Giants' divisional record last year was 4-2. That's the best it's been since 2016. We all know in 2016, the New York Giants went 11-5 and won a wild card spot to get into the playoffs. First time we did that since 2012 or 2011. In 2012 we made the playoffs, right? But I can't remember at this point. It's been so damn long. So you know that's been the best record since 2016 as far as in the division. And you know we damn well could have went 6-0. We damn well could have went 6-0. We split with Philly, split with Dallas, and we lost both of the first games of those two teams, but we easily should have won those first 2 games. If it wasn't for Evan Ingram dropping the ball versus the Eagles, and if it wasn't for the Giants just, you know, not capitalizing on Dallas's mistakes, like those special teams touchdowns, we could have had 2 touchdowns on special teams, or maybe 1 touchdown on special teams and then another field goal or something like that. But the Giants should have won that Dallas game. Giants should have won that Eagles game. But I'm not going to be playing what ifs. We're not going to be doing the hypotheticals right now. But the Giants went 4-2. That's the best divisional record they had since 2016. And I think they can easily get that to 5-1. Well, not easily, but I think it's very possible we can keep it at 4-2, or we can get it to 5-1. I mean, it's between Washington and Dallas is who I think we're going to get at least 1 loss to. I think we're sweeping Philly this season. I don't think there's any chance in hell we lose to Philly once this season. So when it comes to that and the momentum shift, you can definitely see the momentum shift happen in the NFC East. You can see the Dallas Cowboys are starting to decline. You can see the Philadelphia Eagles already on the decline. But now it's Washington, and now it's the New York Giants. Now they're starting to rise up in the divisional ranks, and they're going to be the top 2 teams in dominance in the NFC East. And those 2 previous teams that had dominance in the East for such a long time are going to finally see themselves in the basement every once in a while. You just look at the trend of where the NFC East is going. Obviously, the New York Giants are trending up. Washington, I feel like, is right behind them. Even though they won the division last year, I'll give you guys your respect. But in my honest opinion, without the blue lens, take the blue lens off, right? I think the Giants are just a better team, and they're a more balanced team. That's just me. All right, that is just me. So, if Washington wins it again, then they win it again. You know, good luck to you guys. But Dallas and Philly, I think, are going to be 3rd and 4th. So that being said, guys, that is why I think the New York Giants are going to win the NFC East in the 2021-2022 NFL season. I want to know your thoughts down below. Obviously, we're probably going to see a lot of Dallas, Philly, and especially Washington fans come out here and you know, banter with me and try to rag on me all you want. You guys go ahead and do it. Fill up the comment section. I don't care. I'm gonna go get some sleep because I am tired, but I wanted to make this video for you guys to kind of get pumped for the NFL season and kind of give my thoughts of why I think I have the Giants winning the NFC East and what my expectations are for this team moving forward. So that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.